Right. I wanted to talk about, just kind of shoot the breeze with you on a couple of things, because I've seen a lot of forum posts over time and recently about certain players like Tommy Emmanuel and, Andy McKee, I think it is, and so on. And, we've had a lot of conversations on the site and never recorded them. And I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
And hear from you and see whether you agree.
You've seen some of my comments about that, and I noticed some of them got brought up again today. Some were saying, hey, he's a little cryptic about what he's saying there, and a few of them said, there was nothing cryptic at all about, you didn't understand, painful. Painful could have meant a couple of different things.
So so let's start with Tommy Emmanuel's an Australian, so you can't kick him in the nuts.
He's a phenomenal guitar player.
He is.
You know what? And he writes some great stuff. And so, yeah, I think I was getting... people were reading a little too much into some of his stuff. Most of his stuff is very, very difficult to play, let alone...
Teach it.
Yeah.
You can't teach his style because...
Right.
He doesn't...
And I think you might have brought that up on there today.
He never does anything the same twice for a start.
It's like teaching a Jimi Hendrix song.
Right.
There's absolutely zero to be learned from learning a Hendrix song exactly the way he played it, note for note, from that one performance, because the 48 times he played it that were recorded were all completely different. And Tommy Emmanuel is the same way. Some of his songs have 80% structure, and of course there are great examples of that. Angelina is one that he plays that is, it's still very difficult because it's so percussive and things like that. So you have to have a lot of really high-end skills and techniques down that are part of your playing style. You can't, if you're a 4 player or a 5 player, and if you're struggling with the needle and the damage done, don't even think about it. It's not
right. It looks so great. You want to extend yourself, but here's what I wanted to say is that for those two guys, as an example, we're teaching you the skill base, and as I tried to point out in the thread, and this will sit in its own little thread, is that then once you've got the skills to be able to do the individual things, and you can do it almost automatically because you'll need to, then you can apply your personality, and what happens is you let go, and all of a sudden it just comes out of you, and it then becomes... It's your signature, it's your style, your personality over the top.
Right.
Using the techniques.
Yeah.
And that's him.
Yeah. And so in the case of some of his songs, you may need 30 or 40 different techniques to be second nature to you.
Right.
And one of them might be able to, something like Blackbird. That might be 1/40th. You need to be able to play Blackbird in your sleep, left-handed, and be singing the Star Spangled Banner at the same time. Then you could think about the next technique.
Right.
And it's that complex.
Right. Trying to if you're let's say you're at a 5 on a scale of 10 in your playing career, and you think that you can somehow learn an intricate tapping, strumming, completely loose song.
Part of what it is with his is there's just so much improvisation.
Right.
And that's the real kind of the kicker, as you might say, because we could take a song like Steve Howe's "Mood for a Day" and be very specific about you do this, 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 and this in this order, and it'll sound like it. That's way more approachable than Tommy's improv with Jake over whatever stuff they were doing. And right there, they were just the two of them in that particular video. But Tommy does this all the time too. Is flat out showboating. It's Steve Vai on an acoustic guitar. All he wants to do is keep your jaw on the floor.
Right.
And he's great at it. That's you can't teach that. You can't teach that, the Al Jolson showmanship, to an intermediate, even an advanced guitar player. That's something that you have to develop on your own.
Precisely. And so what we're doing is we're going to, as I said in the other thread, push you to the edge with your skills, and then we're actually going to push you over, and you'll have to fly.
Yeah, and that was a great analogy that you made about that, because I can only hand you most of the tools, and I can't hand them to you. I can show you where you can find them and what you need to do and how often you need to use them, and how comfortable you have to be using them. It's a long process. One of the things I'm working on a song right now that is our next drip feed. So in a week or week or two, they'll see this song that I was bleeding all over, and we're only looking at a couple measures in section A, and one of them is going to be to play a very simple measure very fast, to just work on speed, the fast twitch muscle thing, and that's something Tommy has, And it's something that John Fahey, as a great example, doesn't. And he was a great guitar player. He worked really hard, though, to play very methodically and very stilted in his playing,
right,
because it was very hard for him, and his fingers couldn't fly like John Renborn's or Leo Kotke's or Tommy Emmanuel's or anybody else's.
Right.
And so you have to break a speed barrier with a very simple thing, and that's one of the songs I really like people to do that with is Shades of Funk. Get to where you can play Shades of Funk going bump bump bump, your thumb moving that fast.
Right.
Do 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 do. If your fingers can't move that fast, you're not doing Tommy songs.
Right, right.
At least the way he does them.
And if you've read Clapton's self-penned introspection, I mean, he talks about struggling and almost crying, trying to learn stuff that he saw others doing with ease.
And right, that seemed effortless. Right. And to a lot of great players, that's part of what makes them great. Is playing is effortless for them. Now that doesn't mean they didn't work at it. You just didn't see them work at it.
Right.
You missed the first 17 years.
Right.
When they wanted to pound their head into the pole.
Which Clapton did, you know. And